The joy of bringing my newborn baby girl home was ripped away when I stepped into her room. Her beautiful pink nursery was destroyed, the walls repainted black, the crib broken, and all the toys were gone. But it was my mother-in-law's cruel reason that shattered me most. The soft beep of monitors filled the hospital room as I cradled my newborn daughter, Amelia, in my arms. Her tiny fingers wrapped around mine, and I couldn't help but marvel at her perfect features. Those tiny feet, button nose. She was perfect. The C-section had been tough, but holding her made it all worth it. "She's beautiful," Rosie, my husband Tim, whispered, his eyes glistening with tears. I nodded, too choked up to speak. After months of anticipation, our little girl was finally here. I thought of the nursery waiting for her at home with the pastel pink walls, the white crib, and all the wonderful stuffed animals arranged like a little army. Everything was perfect. That's when a sudden knock at the door interrupted our moment. Tim's mom, Janet, bustled in without waiting for an invitation. "Let me see my grandbaby," she chirped, reaching for Amelia. As I reluctantly handed her over, Janet's smile completely froze, replaced by a look of horror. She stared at Amelia, then at Tim, then back at the baby. She did this a couple of times before clearing her throat, her eyes boring into mine as if she were going to swallow me whole. Tim left the ward to answer an urgent phone call, leaving me basking in his mother's scrutiny. "There's no way this is Tim's child," she said, her voice dripping with accusation. "What did you do, Rosie?" I felt like I'd been slapped. My mouth fell open, and for a moment I couldn't breathe. "Janet, how could you say that? Of course, Amelia is Tim's baby. I would never." "Don't lie to me," Janet hissed, thrusting Amelia back into my arms. "I know what I see. This isn't over, Rosie. Not by a long shot." Before I could respond, Janet spun on her heel and stormed out of the room, leaving me clutching Amelia, tears stinging my eyes. I looked down at my daughter's perfect face, her skin a beautiful deep brown. The thing is, our daughter Amelia was born with beautiful dark skin. Tim and I are both white, so yeah, it was a surprise at first. But upset? Not even close. We were in awe of her perfection. After the initial shock wore off, we remembered that genetics can be wild. Turns out Tim's great-grandfather was black, a fact his family had swept under the rug for generations. Suddenly it all made sense. We saw Amelia as a precious link to a part of Tim's heritage that had been hidden away. But my mother-in-law? She didn't see our little miracle. All she saw was a threat to her narrow-minded view of family. "It's okay, sweetie. Mommy and Daddy love you so much." "That's all that matters," I whispered. I rocked Amelia gently, trying to calm my racing heart. I knew this was just the beginning of a storm, but I never imagined how bad it would get. 2 weeks later, I shuffled through our front door, sore and exhausted from the demands of postpartum care. All I wanted was to settle Amelia into her nursery and maybe catch a nap. "I can't wait to show you your room, sweetheart," I cooed to Amelia as we approached the nursery door. I turned the handle, pushed the door open, and froze. My heart plummeted to my stomach. The room was wrong, so terribly wrong. Gone were the soft pink walls, replaced by pitch, oppressive black paint. The floral curtains had vanished. Heavy dark drapes blocked out the sunlight instead. And the crib Tim and I had spent hours putting together? It lay in pieces on the floor. "Oh my God. What? What happened here?" I stammered, clutching Amelia closer. "I thought I'd fix the room." Janet's voice came from behind me. It wasn't tea-appropriate anymore. I spun around, fury bubbling inside me. "Appropriate? This was my baby's room. You had no right." Janet crossed her arms, a smug grin plastered on her face. "She's not my grandchild. Look at her. She's not Tim's. Both you and Tim are white, but this baby is not. I'm not accepting this child into this family." I could not believe my mill was being racist. I took a deep breath, trying to stay calm for Amelia's sake. "Janet, we've talked about this. Genetics can be unpredictable. And as you know, Tim's great-grandfather was black. Amelia is Tim's daughter. I'm not stupid, Janet spat. I won't let some stranger's child be raised in this house like she belongs here. I redid the room for when you come to your senses and bring her real family to take her. As soon as Janet left the room, I pulled out my phone with shaking hands. Tim, I said when he answered, you need to come home. Now. What's wrong? Tim's voice was instantly alert. Your mother. She destroyed Amelia's nursery. She's saying Amelia isn't yours because of her skin color. Please, I can't handle this alone. I'll be there in 15 minutes. While I waited, I paced the living room, rocking Amelia gently. My mind raced, trying to process what had happened. How could Janet be so cruel, so racist? Suddenly, an idea struck me. I pulled out my phone again, this time opening the camera app. With Amelia still in my arms, I walked back to the kitchen where Janet was. Janet, can you please explain to me again why you did this to my baby's room? It's so utterly unfair. Janet looked up, her eyes cold. I told you, Rosie. That child isn't Tim's. She's not my granddaughter. I'm not accepting her into this family. But why? Just because of her skin color. I kept the conversation going, making sure to capture every hateful word. Of course. You and Tim are both white. This baby's skin is dark. She's clearly not his. You've been unfaithful, and I won't let you trap my son with another man's child. You're such a disgrace to this family, Rosie. With that, Janet stormed to the stove, not knowing what awaited her next. I felt sick to my stomach. When I had enough evidence, I started taking pictures of the destroyed nursery. I'm going to show everyone exactly who my mother-in-law really is, I whispered to myself. I quietly slipped my phone back into my pocket and retreated to the living room, holding Amelia close. A few minutes later, Tim burst through the door, his face thunderous. Where is she? Tim strode into the kitchen, and I followed, my heart pounding. Mom, what the hell did you do? Janet looked up from her tea, her expression innocent. I did what was necessary. You'll thank me when you realize she's not your daughter. Tim slammed his hand on the counter, making us all jump. Are you out of your mind? Amelia is my daughter, my flesh and blood, and if you can't accept that, you'll never see her. Or us. Ever again. Janet's face crumpled. What? You're choosing them over your mother? I'm trying to protect you. Protect me? From what? Love? Family? Pack your bags, Mom. You're leaving. Now. After Janet stormed out of the house, slamming the door behind her, Tim and I collapsed on the couch. Amelia miraculously slept through it all. I'm so sorry, Rosie, Tim whispered, pulling me close. I never thought she'd go this far. I leaned into him, letting the tears fall. What are we going to do? The nursery. Tim squeezed my hand. We'll fix it. Make it even better than before. But first, I have an idea, I said. We're going to expose her for who she really is. I recorded her, Tim. When she was making those horrible comments about Amelia. The world needs to know what kind of person she is. Tim's eyes widened, then a slow smile spread across his face. Yeah, you're right. She might be my mother. But what she did is so unfair. She needs to be taught a lesson. We posted the photos and video on social media, tagging every family member we could think of. The caption read, Guess who needs biology lessons? My Mill. This is what happens when she refuses to accept her own granddaughter because of the color of her skin. My baby Amelia deserves better. Some people fail to understand that love acceptance go beyond superficial differences. Black or white. My child is my universe. And I won't sit back and watch anyone mock my baby, even if it's my own Mill. If need be, this mama bear will stand up for her child like a lioness. The response was immediate and overwhelming. Comments poured in, condemning Janet's actions. Family members called, offering support and apologies. Even Janet's church group reached out, horrified by her behavior. "I can't believe how many people are on our side," I said to Tim as we scrolled through the responses. Just then, his phone buzzed with a text from his sister. "Oh my God," he gasped. "What is it?" I asked, peering at his screen. "Lily sent the post to Mom's boss. Mom, she got fired." I sat back, stunned. Wow. I didn't expect that. Tim ran a hand through his hair. Me neither. But I can't say she didn't deserve it. Weeks passed, and slowly, life settled into a new normal. We repainted the nursery, this time a gorgeous shade of soft pink that made Amelia's eyes shine. Tim's sister helped us pick out new furniture, and soon the room was filled with love and laughter once again. One afternoon, as I rocked Amelia in her new glider, Tim came in with a strange expression on his face. "What is it?" I asked, immediately concerned. He held up his phone. It's Mom. She's demanding to talk to us." "What did you say?" Tim sat on the ottoman, his face hard. "I told her she's not welcome here. Not now, not ever." "Good. I don't think I could face her after what she did." Tim reached out and squeezed my hand. "We're done with her toxicity. Amelia deserves better." I nodded slowly. Actions have consequences. Maybe this will finally make her realize how wrong she was. Just then, Amelia started fussing. I scooped her up, breathing in her sweet baby scent. "You know what I said," looking at Tim. "I don't even care about Janet anymore. We have everything we need right here." Tim smiled, wrapping his arms around us both. "You're right. This is our family, and it's perfect just the way it is." As I stood there, surrounded by the love of my husband and daughter, I knew we had weathered the storm. Janet's cruelty had tried to tear us apart, but instead it had only made us stronger. As for Janet, I doubt she'll ever recover from the humiliation. And frankly, she doesn't deserve to. Do you think I took it too far? Was my Mills behavior justified in any way? Drop your comments.